Welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a particular quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick to review last night's snowy episode of AEW Dynamite.
I thought this was excellent.
I was astonished by several things on this show.
Genuinely, the best possible version of itself when I saw that lineup. Mainly in-ring, so it's hard to get too enthused about Dynasty, which does feel like it has arrived too early. There's not a great deal of hype. You're only as good as your last pay-per-view. You're only really as good as your last pay-per-view build, because pro wrestling is destination booking, making you anticipate something, making you want to really, really see something and like get dismayed when you realize how far away it is. We're not there at all with Dynasty, but I don't know if that is necessarily a reflection of the booking or maybe the scheduling. But in terms of in-ring action, like bloody hell, like this was really, really good. And in terms of wrestlers getting spots, delivering in those spots, it does feel like a company in form.
Yeah, it's not exactly bad. I don't know exactly what the plans were. Obviously, we had a few things to look forward to or to discuss on yesterday's preview, but you sense the conditions have affected programming somewhat. I read Mox had to drive 11 hours for what he went through
Jesus
on this
Christ.
show. But yeah, not bad when you can be like, right, well, we've got the four-way, we've got the street fight. Just chuck Ospreay and AR Fox out there for a bit. Like, not bad fallback.
Not
plan,
bad
is
at all. I don't know. We'll get to Ladies' Night, or maybe not, as the case may be, imminently. Actually, I'll just talk about that bit now. They had announced Statlander versus Bayne well before there was even like a hint of the plans could go awry. There's a blizzard and all the rest of it, and Mercedes Moné had said to Billie Starkz, well, I'll teach you a lesson next week. Whether that lesson was meant to be on Collision or I don't know. But again, whatever the case with Ladies' Night, it would have to be consistent. But we'll get to it. We will get to it.
So yes, we come on air with them showing snowy Omaha, Nebraska. And the show opened up with the four-way title eliminator tournament final to determine who faces Kenny Omega at AEW Dynasty for the international title. It was Ricochet, Speedball, Mike Bailey, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Davis, of course, in that match. I want to give immediately, before I forget, by the way, a shout-out to the wonderful Will, who took two different signs to AEW Dynamite. One last night that read, Senator! Just in case he needed to help Sidge through the Cope versus Mox match. And another one that I saw immediately, like as soon as the show opens and they do the sweeping shot of the arena, right next to the entranceway on the right-hand side as we're looking at it, there's a lovely sign that says the only professional wrestling journalist in the game, and there's a picture of me holding a smaller sign that says, Simon, how about an up? I do hope he gives you one, Will. But thank you so much for that. It popped me huge when opening this show. But yes, into this wild four-way, as to be expected with the personnel we had involved. By the way, Don Callis was on commentary and immediately called Mike Bailey a scumbag for being from Quebec. But high-flying, very quick stuff if your name isn't Mark Davis. But in his defense, Mark Davis has got a great ass.
Great ass.
So early on, they're all going at it. Ricochet, obviously, being the heel, sneaking in and out with this sort of thing. He faked a group dive. So Mike Bailey nailed him with some of those speedball kicks. Gets into it with Cassidy, who hits his own kicks, of course, with his hands in the pockets. And they do a nice bit where Bailey accepts the challenge and even fights with his hands behind his back. But Ricochet gets involved and chucks Cassidy into the barricade. Mark Davis picks his moment, cut off a dive, and powerbombed Mike Bailey onto the edge of the ring. Caught Orange Cassidy, hit him with a back suplex as well. And then in amongst all this, Ricochet just sort of ran in, twatted him and ran off. which allowed Bayley to get a roll-up on Davis for 2. Ricochet joined commentary for a while.
I just want to interject. It was such a great gag, this, because you didn't see him do it. You just heard it. You heard his voice, and I was like, it's brilliant.
He said, I'm not stupid like you, Tony Schiavone. It's about picking your spots. He's
in me for?
He then immediately tried to steal not immediately, but then followed that up by trying to steal a pin on Cassidy and getting launched to the outside by Mark Davis. Cassidy tried a stun dog. Couldn't hit it. It's Mark Davis, but he holds him down long enough for Bayley to hit a double knees to the back. They all the smaller guys opt to go after Davis. And Ricochet doesn't really want to get involved, but he gets fed to him effectively. It's as Mark Davis runs through everyone, taking us to a break. When we come back, Orange Cassidy hits a suplex to a huge pab, but gets attacked from behind by Ricochet. In amongst all this, the commentary were getting concerned about Cassidy holding his arm. Hopefully he hasn't torn his bicep, they said. Mike Bayley hits a dive onto Ricochet and Davis. Cassidy inside rolls through a Hurricane Rana to get a 2 count. There's a roundhouse kick and a Falcon Arrow from Bayley, who goes up top, hits a big shooting star press for 2, but Davis pulls Bayley to the outside, but they get met by a diving Ricochet, who hits a shooting star of his own, but Cassidy kicks out of that. In the end, Bayley and Ricochet are alone in the ring. They exchange kicks and counters, and then they just get taken out by Mark Davis. He hits a one-arm powerbomb on Mike Bayley.
Oh my God.
And a pop-up powerbomb on Ricochet, and a pendulum pile driver that just spikes Orange Cassidy. Mike Bayley just dives in at the last second to save it.
The timing on that was so acute.
Some nice near falls by Davis and Bayley, who hit his backflip, double knees, and a roundhouse kick to the head. Bayley goes for a backslide in amongst all this. He's really struggling to get Davis over, but he finally gets him with the backslide, and suddenly you see Ricochet get involved, climbing on top of the pile with his feet on the ropes. The ref counts the 1, 2, 3 and then realizes, there's 2 people involved in this pinfall, and therefore they are both declared the winner. It is now a triple threat, a 3-way with Kenny Omega, a Dynasty. Congratulations to both Mike Bayley and Ricochet.
This match was pretty damn awesome, but I'm going to be very pedantic about 2 things before I praise it. One, it's a pretty daft finish to do, but it's fine. It's fine. But because I don't envy Bryce Remsburg here, because you have to be like pixel perfect for it to look,
Yes.
He has to make it seem like he's aware that Ricochet is joined the pin, but is not looking at his feet.
Yes.
Basically, with the way that, how I saw it and how I remember it, Remsburg's face just was completely away from Ricochet. It just looked like he didn't even know he was there.
Staring directly at the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, they were saying on commentary, he's focused on the shoulders or what have you. Yeah, he was just looking straight at
it just looked like he couldn't have known Ricochet was even there at all. But again, a pretty hard part of that particular job. The second thing, maybe a bit long. I think if it was slightly shorter, this could have been, I think it'll probably get remembered, but then there's so many great TV matches that things just get forgotten. Things just get forgotten. It's kind of the curse of AEW almost being too good for its own good, something I've spoken about before. Like, this might have been really sort of like, this might have got the hidden gem treatment of, oh God, remember this from Dynamite, But I think maybe it was a little bit long for that. But in terms of what you would want from a 4-way, there's like, if there is like a checklist, check every single thing that I would possibly want from a match like this was like in full effect. Check not too much stalling and incredibly transparent. Not my turn to get involved in the match. However, I'm selling something, so I'll just be on the outside, even though they're selling like a thrust kick, something that ordinarily people just bounce back to life from after a matter of seconds. The Ricochet commentary gag was a good version of that. His strategy in and of itself was a good version of that. I thought Mike Bayley in particular did a fantastic job at 2 very key moments of, well, Ricochet was doing that on the outside. He was like, he wasn't just selling for no reason on the outside or for a very transparent reason on the outside. He was linking it together and doing actual three-way sequences, like when Orange Cassidy got the head of Mark Davis but couldn't drive it down with a stun dog because it's Mark Davis. He's enormous. Bayley coming off the top and doing the knee, like the somersault knee into the back, was just a great version of that. So there was minimal, really transparent, oh, you're just not selling anything on the outside because we're having like... Basically, this is a very... you know what? It. This was not the WWE multi-man match, okay? It was better. Are you happy? Everybody else does it. Why can't I be the one who says, I know it's better than the Fed does? You know? So they're trying to be nice and talking around, oh, you know, minimal selling. It wasn't very contrived. They did a good job of incorporating all members in the match. They did a good job of making it seem like an actual lively 3 or 4-way match most of the time. And that's just better than Fed things. Remember the takeover? Not they don't do takeovers anymore. What was the 4-way women's match? Bayley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. Vengeance Day or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever it was, right? There's two. That was, in their defense, them trying to do, there are 4 people in this match. Let's have 4 people wrestle a 4-way match. It was just far too ambitious. Usually it's like one person sells on the outside. This was like a really good balance. And I'll tell you what, I'll watch this match, and I think a lot of people, it's like, I like it when there's not an insight because something's so overwhelmingly obvious that a lot of people had the same experience. Mark Davis rules.
Yeah.
Mark Davis was awesome in this match. Mark Davis is reminding people of who he is. I tell you what, I know it would be a step back for Kyle Fletcher because he has established himself as a single star. I would have him on that pay-per-view run sheet if it was up to me. But my God, I was never even that big on Aussie Open. If you put them together now,
Jesus,
they're the best tag team in the world, bar friggin' none.
They could really run Hurt Syndicate close, couldn't they?
Yeah, like I wouldn't, but I would, at the temptation, if I'm Tony Khan, like, they'd be awesome together. Like, I was never the hugest fan of theirs. I think they've, like, Davis singles, Hoss Runners really impressed me, and Fletcher's wowed me. Fletcher here, like, I had an idea that Speedball, and I'll get to the finish and the result and what I think of it momentarily. I put it this way, I didn't think Mark Davis was winning. I didn't think Orange Cassidy was winning. I thought, you've heard the previews, I thought Speedball Mike Bayley was winning, but at the same time, Ricochet, you know, they'd want to protect him. I didn't think he was taking the fall. Various points, I thought Mark Davis was winning this. He was just such a monster. The timing on the saves was excellent. It's a very complex and intricate match, this, and like this genre. This is a really elaborate version of it. I thought they did a fantastic job of. There's a few like moments of down time. Again, could have just scrapped 3 minutes out of this, and it would have been a better match and maybe a more memorable match. But the near falls, tremendous. The intricate, layered, actual 3-way and 4-way sequences, tremendous. Mike Bayley being the connective tissue to try and like remind people there's 3 people in this match, tremendous. Felt improvised and not really choreographed. I thought this was a really, really, really good bit of business, this. And I want to see Mark Davis versus Darby Allin.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to see that. The temptation with Mark Davis, and yes, this sort of protected him by having 2 wrestlers pin him, and again, I'll get to what I think of the finish, is there's too much talent in this promotion for its own good, which is often too good for its own good. Mark Davis could really be something, but then so could half of them, you know? And a lot of it you can just harken back to. Tony Khan has signed too many wrestlers, and he's given himself a weekly, monthly, yearly selection headache. Because I want to see Mark Davis be the sort of like, he could do a pay-per-view cycle for Ospreay. They strap up Ospreay all in. Yes, I know they've done it on TV, but if you build Mark Davis versus Ospreay could be a match.
Yeah.
Davis versus Kenny Omega for the International after, you know, there's loads that you do with this bloke. He looked unbelievable in this match.
Yeah, he really has sort of just reinvented himself coming back. He's certainly not just that guy from Aussie Open anymore.
Absolutely. In terms of the finish, At first, I didn't like it, and then realized, me not liking it means I like it. I was really into the idea of a big match, Kenny. We don't have a lot of time left of his career, realistically, because he does so much to his body that he's got the sharpest mind in pro wrestling, but that body is really on its way out, it would seem. He can work around it brilliantly, as he's proven this year. But nonetheless, I did want to see him do a singles match. Like, I really did want to do an against Bayley. So, like, a three-way, I'm thinking, well, we've just seen a four-way, so I don't necessarily want to see a three-way. And, Ricochet's annoying at the end. And I'm like, Ricochet's annoying at the end. Ricochet, being this dickhead, getting in the way of this really cool match between Bayley and Omega, which could be the making of Bayley in AEW, just adds a different dynamic to it, and it makes you resent. But that's the thing, Ricochet's heel character, which is great, drives resentment, and you just want to see him get his ass kicked. So I think he'd be a really good wrinkle to this match.
Certainly sets the bar high just before WrestleMania as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the benefits as well of a three-way match, which they're hard to build, which is a big problem. I want to see, can Omega really do something substantive storytelling-wise in AEW? A three-way is probably going to harm his chances of that happening in the next couple of weeks, but it's not a long time. However, this four-way underscored, the reason why you do them is because at various points, as I said yesterday, if you can get that frisson, if you can nail it properly, you don't go in there with a rational mind. You think, the guy who clearly is there to take the pin, right? All right, well, he's winning. How's this happened, you know?
Yeah.
So a three-way, it's one of those, you do often sacrifice a good build, but on the night, this will be tremendous. And I don't know who you pin as well. Which is,
I was thinking that.
Because you want to protect Ricochet.
Kenny's retaining, obviously.
Kenny's retaining, but you want to protect Bayley. I don't know. Maybe it exists so Omega and Bayley can have their proper match after the fact. I don't know, but that's a good thing.
We follow up with a title match. In fact, the TBS title was on the line. It was Mercedes
Moné
versus Billie Starkz for the TBS title.
Oh my God.
Commentary putting over time in not only AEW, but obviously Ring of Honor. There's a great video package introducing people who were unaware of Billie Starkz, and then they were
maybe should have done it last week.
Yeah, they were putting over as well Mercedes' undefeated streak in AEW, but Starkz, honourable lady that she is, offers a handshake. Mercedes just decked her into the ropes. Get away from me. Starkz comes back though to take us to a break. She hit a senton, got a cover, 2 count from that. Put Mercedes on the top, got her on her shoulders, but Mercedes grabs at the eyes. It's a clothesline to take us to a break. When we come back, Starkz wanted a tombstone, but Moné countered it into a sort of lung blower for a 2 count. She tries for the 3 amigos, but Starkz countered right at the end into a neck breaker on the knee because, of course, the neck injury that Mercedes is still carrying from her match with Momo. Moné caught Starkz in the corner, facebuster into the buckle, but Starkz avoids the moneymaker, hits a pump knee and a spin kick. Moné answered with a discus lariat to knock them both down. Starkz hit a big John Woo drop kick, sets Moné up in the corner, and basically dropped her on her head.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I thought, well, this match is over, and the ref counts, but Mercedes at the last second, heartbreakingly for Billie, gets her foot on the ropes.
Unbelievable spots.
Oh my God.
Starkz follows that up by going for a somersault senton off the top onto the apron. Mercedes moves and Starkz just crashes and burns. And Mercedes pulls her back into the ring, rolls her up, and then turns that into a statement maker to get the submission victory.
Absolutely lime television pro wrestling, this. As distinct from, you put this on a pay-per-view, it probably does well, probably goes over. But, you know, it's not as magic as this. I love a goddamn TV match between an established star and an unfancied opponent, and watching that unfancied opponent like rise to the occasion and get over in the course of a competitive match. Now, the problem, and I think this is one of the reasons why this spoke to me so much and why this had such an effect on me, is that it's hard to criticize to a degree, right? But Tony Khan is aware of the power of this type of TV match, right? And it's kind of the model, like the AEW model. And I think they tried to manufacture something like this on pretty much a near weekly basis through like the patterns of his TV show and his booking. And it doesn't really work like that all the time. And in fact, you do it too often, and all you really accomplish is you don't elevate the solid hand, the emerging talent, or whoever. What you do is you drag the star down to their level, and it just feels like that politely trading offense in a ratio of moves to the point where it just feels like an empty, hollow back and forth done for the sake of doing a match, you know? So I understand why he does it, but I wish he wouldn't do it that much. This was exactly what Tony Khan has in mind when he books TV matches. Like the perfect illustration of his philosophy when he does this sort of thing. I thought Billie Starkz was tremendous here. Like, she wrestled so well to her level of experience. Mercedes Moné has been grasping that ace role, which is the hardest one in pro wrestling for a few months now, if not longer, of you need the balance of, I need to come out of this match feeling invincible, this godlike figure who's never looks like they're in danger of dropping the title. But in the guts of the match, as the match is in progress, I'm going to lose at every juncture. You know, it's a really difficult rule. She's nailing it, but, you know, it's familiar terrain now to put over Mercedes Moné, quite possibly the best North American pro wrestler ever. Billie Starkz was tremendous here. Like, yes, there were elements, you know, this kind of elevated the drama of the match, even if it didn't go perfectly well. Elements where it looked like she was going to hurt herself and or others in this ring, but I mean, it was dramatically effective. I don't know what you want me to say, but even before those big bombs at the end, there was this sense that she was playing this sort of like really scrappy, clever, instinctive pro wrestler. In the end, she got completely outclassed and outwitted, but like wrapping around certain pins, you know, like just really sort of clever, spirited pro wrestling from like this rookie who's like full of piss vinegar and motivation for a big match like this, you know. And you know, the thing about Billie Starkz as well is that she'll either eat or do something that looks like really dangerous, and I'm really into that because I don't think she's the most technically immaculate pro wrestler ever. She moves in a way that you could describe as unusual, but my God, she grafts in there. She grafts so hard, and it was really sort of like stirring to see. And she's still so young as well.
She's 20.
Yeah, 20 years old.
They said she's had over 500 matches, I think they said on commentary.
Like, she's, you know, she's got something. I don't know if she's going to be a true, proper star at the end of it all. I still think she's a little bit slow for that main event tier.
Well, to cage match, this was her 500th match.
Bloody hell. I mean, what a milestone. She should be completely proud of this. That goddamn spot at the end where it looks like she's dumped Mercedes on her head. Either it's the happiest accident or they've gone that close to the head and neck for the purpose of the near fall.
Yeah.
Because Jesus Christ, if you haven't seen it, like, go and watch this. It's worth going out your way to see. Again, don't expect like a 5-star match. I'm saying for a really effective bit of TV match business, this is going worth going out of your way to see. So Mercedes, after taking something on the top turnbuckle as well, which looked horrific, an reverse Alabama slam, head first on the top turnbuckle. Yeah, like Athena's like really vicious offense rubbing off on Billie Starkz. So she does this other move where she just pretty much dumps Mercedes on her head, right? And you see people like the commentators are like recoiling in like sort of fear. Oh, Jesus Christ. 1, 2, no movement. You're looking at the head and neck to see, is she moving? And you're still like transfixed on the head and neck. And you just, by the time the 3 should have hit, you're still looking at the head and neck. Because is she dead? Is she okay? You don't see the leg go to the ropes, and it's just like, oh, that's what's happened.
Yeah,
it's something above a near fall because it's not like the 2.999. It's the 3.05 before you've realized what's happened.
Yeah,
such a great near fall. And then what I love about this is like the storytelling is so strong. So you've got Billie Starkz Like, she's not going to hit Mercedes harder than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's just almost internally decapitated her. So she's like, right, okay, now I have to take the risk. It's not just a high spot for a high spot's sake. You must take the risk now of going up to that top rope, because it's like, well, what else am I going to do? Literally hit her with my best shot. So I thought the sequencing of the story beats here was tremendous. She takes that wicked dive onto the apron and like just eats again. And then Mercedes, who is playing the however many years veteran, who is a big match like specialist, who's just been here on way bigger stages than Billie Starkz at this stage of her career could ever dream of making, goes, all right, okay, well, that was a stupid mistake. I'm brilliant at this. I'm experienced at this. I know exactly how to capitalize. I'm going to drag you back into the ring and crucifix you at the same time. Transition into the Moné statement.
Your back statement, yeah, whatever it's called.
And Billie Starkz' expression was absolutely sublime. Like, whenever you see shock because of NXT shock kick out face,
yeah,
I'm instantly put off. But this was the shock of, oh no, I've messed up. Not, oh no, someone's kicked out of the signature. That never wins. That was not this. This was, I've been got by someone who's just better and knows what they're doing more than me. And like the dismay as well, just naivety versus experience. I thought this match was really, really strong. Like, I had a great time watching this. I was so impressed by it.
Also, really like the way they followed it up later on, but we'll get to that with Mercedes' interview.
But that was not the only women's match on Dynamite.
Well, yes. So here we are.
I've got thoughts.
Well, let's talk about this because, yes, as you mentioned, that wasn't the only women's match on Dynamite. It was also the main event of the evening, despite the fact we had a street fight for the world title, which may tell you how they thought that might go. Now, we've been very clear with the rules with Ladies' Night. In fact, we'll get to the name of the game. Let's get to the aim of the game.
Get to the aim of the game. Indeed. The aim of the game is to identify to the hour, minute, and second the first time you hear the first note for the first entrance theme for the first women's wrestler to come out and compete in the only women's match on Dynamite. The only women's match on Dynamite. And we do this because if we can just nail it to the second, we're really going to italicize, put in bold, and underscore. Hang on. What's going on here? Come on, guys. Because it usually falls when it's the only women's match on Dynamite in that 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 minute range. And you're thinking, hang on, wow. There's always a reason behind a pattern if you are a good investigator. So my theory of the pattern, and it's pretty cynical, is the psychology here that AEW and Warner are thinking, got to put the birds on, it's 2025, the Wokes will kick off if there's no birds. I mean, on this evidence, I wish there was more.
Yeah.
I wish there was more, but I'm fairly certain that is the thought process.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're thinking, well, why is it always before the main event? And you're thinking, well, cynically, the sunk cost fallacy of I've already watched an hour and 20 minutes of this Dynamite. I'll put up with the birds to get to the main event. I've already spent my Wednesday evening doing this, and I think that's what they think. And you're thinking, yeah, I'm kind of getting with you, Sidge. Kind of grasping this, but could you jinglize it to make it a little bit clearer, a little bit more snappy? Sure can. Don't worry, guys. When the women come out to play, the main event ain't too far away. And that's the aim of the game. And the name of the game is, well, this is Ladies' Night, and I'm thinking, oh, what a night. But you might have realized during that reading that I emphasized on more than one occasion the only. So what I'm saying is Hamlet's win is void.
I agree. Yes. Obviously, I would say that.
Maybe we need to be a little bit more diplomatic with this.
I think we should just end Ladies' Night now and declare me the winner for 2025.
No, we're not doing that. And I know what your motives are, you piece of trash.
Just the rules.
Piece of absolute trash. This.
You end the season now. There we go. Let's check the.
You know what you sound like?
What?
There was a loser Arsenal fan.
Just one.
I've got a theory about Arsenal fans, you know.
You've got some doubts.
I've got some thoughts about Arsenal fans. Yes, they're losers. Everyone knows that. Semi-final losers. But I think, right, they're always looking for some kind of excuse, a conspiracy.
Oh, there's a lot of conspiracy theories
right.
from Arsenal.
Of like, the refs are against us, or blah, 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 or, the ball was out of play when it wasn't. The correct camera angle would have shown you the ball isn't out of play. And, it's a contact. It's a physical contact sport, so Joe Linton is going to get you. He is going to get you. I love how it's never them. Like, it's never just the team, really. There's always something, dark forces working against Arsenal, right?
Got to watch out for those footballs as well.
You got to watch out for those footballs. They float funny, Here's the thing. We're going to win the Premier League because we're specialists at using that ball. And that's been introduced for the PL. Do you know that, Nicholas?
Yeah.
So we're going to win the Premier League. What I'm saying about Arsenal before I move on to the actual content of the podcast is that's true support, that is. It's like, that can't be our beloved Arsenal, our beloved Gooners. It's something else. That's like, in a weird way, they are supporting the team because they're saying, we support the lads. It's not the lads. It's those dark forces working against us.
I read something very funny about Arsenal yesterday, by the way.
Remind us why I got into Arsenal. I'm sat here.
You might have to remind us,
no
Nicholas.
idea why I'm talking about Arsenal, but carry on.
I read that I think Liverpool are maybe 5 wins mathematically away from winning the title. I'm going to take a wild guess at who they played in the 6th game, who'd have to give them the Guard of Honour if they won those 5 games.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Good stuff, pal. Nicholas, why am I talking about
Why are we
Arsenal?
talking Arsenal?
You think I know? Why would we assume
Ladies'
that?
night. Oh, why I said we should
Delusional.
stop the season. Stop the season now.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So it was a loser Arsenal fan.
There you go.
Right. Who was like, cause apparently, because I think it was either 2 seasons ago or whatever, either last season or the season before. I think it followed a similar pattern, actually. Arsenal leading pretty much the entire way. Bottle. Man City. Get there in the end.
Yeah.
And I think did that happen 2 seasons in a row? The same narrative, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, one of them was City was less of a. It was like they just couldn't quite keep pace. There was the season where they were like 8 points clear and they bottled it.
Right. So I'm talking about that season. So
They basically led for the whole season. They were top of the league.
so that would factor in like a calendar year. And there was an Arsenal fan who said, you know what, this idea of seasons is stupid. What we should do is calculate the points over the course of a calendar year, and whoever gets the most, and it just happened to be Arsenal.
Wow, what are the chances?
Who got the most points accumulated over the course of a calendar year, so they should have given us a title. Completely neglecting that it's all about mentality.
It's always been that, though.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah. Neglecting the fact that the season is the correct way to do it.
Yes.
Because the season, you can play the nicest football against Wolves, Brentford, whatever, in like November, December, January, February. It's when you start to get that, oh my God, we might win this. It becomes the mentality.
Yeah. That's the point of it.
It's a game of mentality, holding your nerve, the composure. Like, that's a huge part of like what makes champions champions. Anyway, so, right. On Ladies' Night, we don't know, back to the point, whether is this an aberration informed by the blizzard?
Yeah, that's what I think the Panda Blair himself, Adam Blair, Adam Wilton for you, and it's the other person who takes care of the
Data.
Thanks. Jose Palomar is at the Ho 11. Adam said as much on X I saw today.
Yeah, but they're not showing us up, with all due respect. Like they don't know. They're just speculating.
We said yesterday they'd advertised the main event that we'll get to, and they teased. And yes, it maybe is, but they still taped Collision, so they could have just put a different match from Collision on.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that, one, because this week we did our times for the only women's match, and there were 2 women's matches. We can't. It's null and void, Hamlet. I'm sorry, bro. It is null and void. You don't count, because what's the only match? Is it the first or the second?
Yeah.
There's no only. There is no only. In terms of the official game and the status of Ladies' Night going forward, we can't just spin it after one potential aberration, City Jones.
Yeah.
We're going to have to play it again next week. And
We go again.
We go again. There has to be the pattern.
I feel like you should establish at this point. This is a good opportunity to establish how many you would have to have before you would.
Yeah.
Call.
I mean, I reckon if there's 4 consecutive weeks, if we just do 2 women's matches now.
And by the way, I know people may say, well, wait a second, there's been 2 women's matches before. The other caveat we've had for this is it has to be a normal Wednesday night Dynamite, not one when they've moved nights or they know they're going to get, put up against election or NXT or whatever it may be. And it does not count if it is, Mercedes
Serena
Moné
Deeb's.
Yeah, Mercedes Moné versus Billie Starkz. And then,
Serena Deeb's professor challenge against a rookie, or Jade Cargill's winning a 80th match in 12 seconds or whatever, 2 competitive matches. And I would say 4?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because that
Four's
was
fair. That's what we all say.
Yeah, everyone knows 4's fair.
I mean, we can't stop saying it.
No, 4's fair.
Well,
4's fair. So we go again next week, but it's not quite the end of ladies' night.
But this week is void. This week is void.
Okay, so 4 from now. 4's fair.
Yeah, but I'm saying Hamflett's score doesn't count.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I'm still in the lead with 4. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah,
they're 2 separate things now, aren't they? Because you've got one of the 4 you need to cancel it, but it doesn't count towards.
Put it in the record books now, Adam Wilton, Adam Blair.
We've got 1. We need 3 more.
This week doesn't count, so update your records and data to reflect this. Thank you. And we will tell Hamflett this on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that then.
But thank you for all the hard work that everyone puts in.
Indeed, thank you. But, do more hard work.
And thanks to everyone.
You need to rescind Hamflett's score.
Yeah, he has done. He subsequently updated it with a VAR GIF, so which takes us to 2 correct guesses for Hamflett for the year. 0 for you so far, but still time to pull it back.
Yeah, but 4 is fair. Maybe we will stop playing.
4 for me.
He doesn't need to win anything else. Yeah, he's won enough.
Yeah.
Sitting
pretty, mate. He's won
Yeah,
enough.
anything else is just a bonus now.
Yeah,
Right.
When me and you doing our open top bus parade stage,
we're going to the town war, man, apparently.
Just you and me, though.
It's
a little one.
I still haven't done mine for Ladies' Night last year, actually. Maybe I'll see if I can get in contact with Eddie and get on board the...
We're not doing a bus.
They're not doing it?
No,
they're
going to the town war.
When?
29th.
29th.
Saturday the 29th.
Brilliant. I miss it. I was going to go to that.
What the difference
Are you gonna
make? You either go to the city centre or you walk 5 minutes to the town.
I know, but I was going to go. I didn't realise when it was going on, and I'm going to be away with the brilliant Sweet Chin Disco.
Still?
Yeah, next weekend, isn't it? 29th? Is that right? Yeah.
Still there? Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's just me and Hamflett then. In the office next week, potentially.
No, I'll be in for a select few days.
Okay, then back.
And I'll try and make sure we do the SmackDown preview in advance. So
what the hell am I, Jab Liver? I'll be there.
It'll
be with you, buddy.
And it's the match recaps I hate doing.
Okay.
No, I think it'll be Friday. Next Friday, I'm not here because I'm.
You're not Chop Liver, bro. I just don't like doing these match recaps. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Hamflett's getting good at it as well. It's annoying. It's my skills.
I told you, man. You've already won. You've won a cup.
It's good.
Doesn't matter. Where's your cup, Hamflett? Oh, that's right. You don't got one.
To win the playoffs.
You mug.
It's not a major trophy, is it?
No, we all play nice in this office.
We do. We genuinely
do.
Genuinely do.
Yeah.
We get a video package from the Outrunners, who are the unofficial mascots of the Omaha Mavericks ahead of their March Madness
There's
game.
some great sound bites. Did you listen,
I
Claire? Like,
enjoyed
goes, one of them was like, 50% of winning, it's all mental. The other 50% is all in your head.
It's the class.
Like the motivationals is absolutely unbelievable.
They beat up a bin.
Do that and don't wrestle, please.
They beat up a bin as
They
well.
do the Predator elbow on a bin.
And we also see footage of the MVP MJF in-ring segment from last week with his offer to join the Hurt Syndicate. And we go backstage. MJF is holding a business card saying many are placing bets on who will be the next AEW World Champion. Something it's Darby Allin. Remember him? MJF's beaten him twice with a side headlock. I forgot that. That was class. He could also be dead on a mountain, he said.
He could.
Good. Something Will Ospreay. MJF already beat him for the international title last year. Could be Hangman Page, but there's only one thoroughbred you put your chips on and you're looking at him, baby.
The Mustang, the Stallion.
Looking at this business card, though, has got him thinking this title's held by Dictator John, who's got an army surrounding him. Maybe he needs a clique of his own, says MJF. The last time he trusted someone, he got burned. So MVP is going to have your answer next week. It's time for Daddy to stop crying over spilled milk and pop some champagne, he says.
While we're shafting Hamford here,
Go on.
you know, if this happens on Raw, he's absolutely tearing it clean off, isn't he?
What's this?
The character Bible stuff, the continuity, like...
Oh, they're sort of running through the history of interaction.
It's just really good from MJF, this.
Yeah.
Just really, really good stuff from MJF. And like, it wasn't meant to be this blow-away great promo. It was just meant to be a little sort of, here's what we're doing next week sort of deal. But no, he's fleshed out and reminded you all of the history and just emphasized...
His selected history, let's be honest.
Yeah. But he's still emphasized,
Yeah.
you know, like, I'm a living, breathing character. If you watch me this week, in 3 years' time, it'll be worth the investment. You know, it's just been out on AEW the whole time. Maybe it's just a novelty that it happens in the Fed.
Right, let's talk about this street fight. It is the middle of the card. I was like, are they going on the rest of the show for this entire street fight? I was like, what's happening? Why is it? It's not starting now.
To be honest, like, it was a bit scary because Cope, like, it was 30, I think it was 40 minutes, that match with Orton, you know.
Yeah.
The WrestleMania one was like 38
Yeah,
minutes.
it's a long
Oh,
match.
hang on. Play a game here, bro. And the greatest match ever, whatever it was like north of 45.
Yeah.
North of 45.
They could just reshoot anything that they wanted on that, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Of course.
Keep talking, and then we'll play a little game.
Okay. Yes. Middle of this card, we had Mox versus Cope in a street fight for the AEW World Title. Cope, no stranger to going long in some of his matches, which I still am baffled, and me and Sidge and Hamflet have said on numerous occasions. Short doesn't automatically equal bad, and long doesn't automatically equal good.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
How long was Edge versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 36?
This was the satin tweet one, wasn't it? Yeah, classic. We talked about that the other day. I will go. I always hate when people ask a question like, "Hey, Sidge, this jacket was a bargain. Guess how much I got it for?" And someone says like, £1. It's not £1, is it? Like, now you meant to guess low, but not so low that when I say what the answer is, you go,
It makes the
"Whoa!"
jacket look rubbish. Yeah.
So I'll go 33-21.
36 minutes and 55 seconds. I think that might be the second longest match in the history of WrestleMania. Like, obviously the Iron Man is number one. Look that up for me, bro.
I'm looking at one thing. Another thing I'm looking up. Another match that I'm gonna. Was that match? What was it? 36.
36-55.
Was that longer or shorter than you were there for it? Triple H versus Batista.
Oh, like way longer. Triple H Batista. It's either 23, 24, or 25. I'm gonna go 24-36.
9 seconds off. 24-45.
Jesus Christ, he loves that 24 minutes, bro. Yeah. He loves that 25 minutes.
It did feel about that. So longest matches
in
WrestleMania
history. Iron Man 1, obviously. Bingo! How recent is that?
This is that's from 2020.
So
there you go. 6 longest WWE WrestleMania matches of all time. Here we go. Okay, I will tell you this. You were correct up until last WrestleMania.
Because of all the add-ons, Cody Roman.
Cody, Seth, Roman Rock was longer.
Of course.
Do you want to guess the...
The Rock just likes taking his time with everything, doesn't he?
Guess the other, for some reason, this is a top 6 for whatever reason. Do you want to guess?
Edge Orton 3.
Edge Orton was at number 3, yes. Do you want to guess the other 3 on there? I'll give you a clue. They might have Triple H in one of these matches.
The longest Triple H match at Mania.
Get the time for WrestleMania XL. Here we go. So
Right,
WrestleMania
okay.
XL. Oh, Jesus.
I think the Brock one went on longer than most.
Cody Roman was 33.25.
So that's 4.
No. I don't think it doesn't make the top. No, it doesn't make the top 6. And yeah, Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins was 44 minutes and 35 seconds, and there wasn't a single bad moment in it, in my opinion. There are 2 singles matches and 1, I know, yes, all matches are multi-man. 1 multi-man in 4, 5, and 6 positions.
Ooh. The WrestleMania 2004 way.
Number 4, 36 minutes, 24 seconds.
The other singles matches. Triple H in one of them?
Oh, by the way, Cody Roman would have snuck into this list. I don't know why it's not been included.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's Triple H singles match?
You know it.
Is it the Lesnar from 29?
It's not.
Ooh. Oh, 28.
There you go.
28. That's like 30 minutes, wasn't it?
30, 50, yeah.
I've got one more to get.
One more. Wasn't the main event of the show.
25 take HBK.
Good knowledge.
That's what you come here for.
And come for the knowledge, stay for the bits, although we don't do bits, obviously. Yeah. Right, Mox v. Cope. Street fight. AEW World title. Mox making his entrance, man. When he's jumped by Cope from behind.
Probably should take the piss.
They fight into a loading truck.
I did get 36 flashbacks here.
Yeah, me too. He gets drop kicked out of the truck into the garage door, does Mox. They eventually brawl into the arena as Mox fights back. Cope hits him with a microphone, though, and a trash can, and there's a snap suplex on the floor, but Mox fights back, hits Cope's head against an LED board and grabs a kendo stick on the outside and wears that out on him. And there's a paradigm shift onto the commentary tables to take us to a break. And when we come back, Mox has set up a table at ringside and he's got chairs laying in chair shots. He's choking Cope with the legs of the chair. He wants to Pillmanize his neck, but as he goes up top, Cope jumps up and throws the chair at Mox, rakes his back and hits a superplex. You see Prince Nana watching backstage. Obviously, whoever wins this faces Swerve at Dynasty. Sort of forearm exchange. Cope hits a lariat and a flapjack. And then goes under the ring to get Spike.
Spike.
Nail-covered board, in case you're unaware. Bear that in mind. Because he rolls back into the ring, gets hit with a cutter from Moxley, who slides another table in the ring and sets it up in the corner. Takes too long, though. And Cope, in that time, has grabbed Spike, hits Mox in the ribs and on the back. And you think, well, at least they've actually used Spike. That looks like it sucks to take, even if it's the light. It's a nail-covered board, a lot of nails.
Stick. It's an important distinction that will become important.
Yes. Yeah. Because then Spike is laying in the ring as Cope suplexes Mox onto it and impales him, let's be perfectly honest. It sticks into the back of Mox, so much so that he starts walking around with it in his back. The fans can't believe what they're seeing. Neither can I, to be perfectly honest. Wheeler Yuta shows up to spoil the fun. Hits Cope with a...
You hate him.
Hits Cope with a...
What's the freaking difference between Wheeler Yuta, who basically is doing what the Usos did for 2 years of the really bad part of the bloodline?
Talent. Cope hits a Busaiku.
So you're saying Jey Uso is talented?
Yeah, well, he's in the main event of WrestleMania, mate, so win a Royal Rumble. It can't be bad if you win a Royal Rumble.
So you like Alberto Del Rio?
Definitely. Have you seen the story about him today?
Yeah.
Okay.
What an idiot. Arsehole.
Yuta hits Cope with a Busaiku knee and tries to help Mox. I'll get it out of your back, mate. He can't. It was horrible. He tries to pull it out and it just stays there and the skin comes with it. Even the producers are like, cut away from this.
Looks like body mutilation performance art. Where, you do some kind of protest about whatever. It's like, I'll take pain in my body to, reflect what's going on. It looked like body mutilation.
It was...
You ever seen Hellraiser?
No, and I'm good.
There's a famous scene where the guy gets his skin ripped off his flesh, suspended by hooks or whatever. I'm probably misremembering, but the basic gist is that his skin gets ripped off by hooks. And it looked like his skin had been like elasticized coming out of his body, like actual mutilation.
So they cut away, and I think this was always a planned spot, but they were like, go to the spot. So the referee can help Mox get it out of his back. Goes after Mox and gets put through. Sorry, goes after Cope and gets put through the table.
It was
at
terrifying.
ringside.
This, I thought they were gonna have to call the match and get we need an actual plan, medical staff. Like this thing is lodged in his and all of the skin in his back is gonna come off if we don't do this now.
Then again, you can't get pinned if you've got a spike in your back.
Yeah.
Can't put both your shoulders down. Yeah. So maybe it's 3 steps ahead from Mox.
Maybe he's
3 spikes ahead.
He's going to sitting under the learning tree of Dralistico, of course.
Check out the collision review if you wonder what we're talking about there. Anyway, they've got it out finally. But yes, Cope powerbombs Yuta through a table, and then here comes Claudio and Pac. They're back. They attack Cope. They look to concerto him, but FTR run out to make the save. Cash takes out Claudio with a dive. Dax hits Mox with a pile driver, tackles Pac on the outside. As they rise to defeat the two men, and Mox is understandably still, it bloody back! He turns around into a Cope spear through the table. Cope's got the match won. 1-2. Marina Shafir appears to break up the count. Willow Nightingale's there to get rid of her, though, with a clothesline and a cannonball off the apron.
I like the juxtaposition of her wearing like a knitted cardigan.
Yes.
Just to like illustrate how wholesome she is compared to this. That was a good choice, that.
Yeah. And then members of the Patriarchy show up. Kip Sabian eats a spear. Nick Wayne flies in with Wayne's World. Mox makes a cover, but Cope kicks out. But Mox transitions into a bulldog choke, and Cope passes out. Moxley retains. He will go on to face Swerve at Dynasty. Horrible.
I'll over the shop this. I feel like I shouldn't take the piss, but I'm going to. 3 different matches in one is my way of summarizing.
A Kinder Surprise of a match.
That's your way of summarizing.
3 surprises in one. So that was their catchphrase.
3?
That was their catchphrase. I think Jack D had a big bit about this because it's like...
It was one toy.
Yeah, there's a toy. The inside of the egg's white chocolate. So is the other surprise the outside of the egg's milk chocolate? Is that really a surprise?
Okay.
Yeah.
Match 1. A very tedious walk and brawl.
Cope and Mox. Yeah.
Yeah, with like a weapon, but a kendo stick, but it's a different color.
Black?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Match 2. An absolutely insanely sick death match that even by AEW standards, where they go hard on this sort of thing, I could scarcely believe the lengths they'd went to. Number 3, really funny. Really, really, really funny. So number 1 goes into number 2 in a way that I can scarcely believe, right? Because in match number 1, Spike is employed, but it's kind of like hitting him with it, but it's not like you can never like swing. The whole point of Spike, if you consider this purely fiction, the actual point of Spike isn't to gingerly kind of. No. It's like it's as bad as Triple H's sledgehammer, where it's like you're never going to use it. Like at least with a chair, full force. A table, full force. Brass knucks, bang. The sledgehammer was always, I'll just put my hand over it and do a little jab. It's like, you're not going to do a wild swing, so don't use it, you idiot. I thought you're the storyteller, Levesque. Though everyone else is like the little piss end companies. Well, you're an idiot.
Yeah, so The Walking Dead, he doesn't go, right,
you're dead. Yeah. So I thought Spike was in this, until last night, was in the genre of weapon where it's a weapon, but we're not going to use it to its full effect. What's the point? Why use it then? Why use it? So when Spike is introduced, I'm kind of in a mood because it's already a bit like, oh, right, okay, there's a table spot, a kendo stick. It's already kind of like a fed-pilled anti-Texas death scenario that I'm enduring here. And then he does that. I cannot believe it. It looked awesome. I'm sorry. It looked disgusting, but it looked awesome. It's like the full commitment is deranged. So it's like, you know what? And like we kind of predicted it, not this, but a version of it where we thought, right, they're going to try and do an iconic deranged plunder spot to try and have it so that when you recall this program, and the lasting memory is, Christ, you went through a flaming table or whatever. I don't think they would do this.
No.
All right, okay, I'm probably going to remember that Mox versus Cope, after everything is mutilated, Hellraiser back, more than Ricky Morton and the crime spree and the cat burglar that is Jon Moxley, you know? So fair play. If you go, is this justified? There'll be a lot of think pieces and discourse. For me, yeah, I don't remember this more than this. That was this program. So that's match 2 and match 1 covered. Match 3, absolutely hilarious, right? So let's run some numbers. Let's crunch some data. Wheeler Yuta, Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir. These are all the people who attempt to take Cope out of the match, by the way. So we've got Wheeler Yuta, Pac, Claudio, Marina Shafir, Nick Wayne, and Kip Sabian. There was 6 of them. Jesus! What are you, blind? There was 6 of them. Jesus! He's out Zandig with how hard he is by how many people are trying to chin him to get him to lose in one match.
Yeah.
Are you blind? There was 6 of them. Right. So that on the tier of, so let's create a new tier list here of pathetic baby faces who are desperate to make it look like they are strong, hard, heroic, whatever. Zandig has been knocked down the list by Cope. There was 6 of them. Jesus. The volume was still not at Alliance to End Hulkamania levels. The 2 versus 8 Doomsday Cage, which was nearly 2 versus 9, until Pillman was like, I'm not doing that. He very intelligently got out of it, right? When it wasn't quite, because Hogan won in the end as well. Cope at least did the job eventually. But like there was 6 of them. Jesus. Just funny. Like, hell, mate. Get what? Who do you think you are? It's like, get 6.
Because I still walked out.
Stop Mandela affecting your own career.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this. You're not Jack Reacher.
And
This,
I did like
2 minutes. This was awesome. Did I think that was going to happen yesterday? No. So in the strictest terms, I will let you talk momentarily. In the strictest terms possible, obviously if someone can Photoshop Cope Zandig, I'd be very appreciative.
Yeah.
In the strictest definition, this was an over-delivery.
Yeah. Better than their Revolution match. You didn't have to do much to beat that, to be perfectly honest. I also did laugh when the Death Riders were leaving. They were all like, to all the fans. And then, afterwards, Cope and Dax have a thing now?
Cope's in a grumpy Dax.
Dax is like, there was only 6. Why didn't you win?
And to which Cope obviously went, are you blind? There was 6 of them. Jesus!
Commentary said, is this Cope's last bite of the apple? His last chance at the AEW World title?
First of all, I just banged my elbow on the side of the table, but that reminded me of what we were going to say. I've just pierced my back on a spike.
Yeah, we said that earlier. Popped each other with the partridge. Hey, I'm going to say this right now, okay? I don't care if you broke your elbow. Yeah, they were like, is this his last shot at the world title? I was like, it bloody better be.
Yeah.
Let's get swerving here, for God's sake. Ridiculous. Yeah, the ending to this match. But unforgettable, like you say.
Funny, brutal, and boring.
And there's a new category, by the way.
That's 2 things it was better at than Edge versus Orton.
Yeah, there's a new category, by the way, that me and Phil talked about on the news this morning. Weapons introduced. This is probably just a mainly AEW thing. Weapons introduced that you go, why have you introduced that? You can't use it, so why have you introduced it?
Yeah, the lore of Spike was Cope, then known as Copeland, Adam Copeland, had created Spike, plagiarizing Abyss pretty much, so that he could use it in an I Quit match against Christian The idea he's not going to use it, but Christian is so fearful of it being used on him. Like, I quit. So it was, carry on.
So there's that, speak, and a flamethrower. You remember when we were like, why have you brought a flamethrower? Because you go, I never actually said, you've set someone on fire.
Yeah.
Any more? I can't think of any more straight off the top of my head, but do let us know if there are.
Well, what's interesting, this is a point I was actually going to make. I'm glad you've reminded me. They've done something similar to this, but physics worked against Jon Moxley here. I think physics might be the word. I don't know. I'm not very clever. But the bed of nails carnival trick, where you can very gingerly, because the most dangerous part is like lying down, but once you're actually on it, and there's a load of the nails, and they're evenly distributed, and your full weight is distributed across it, you can then get stamped on, but because of like, I don't know, is physics a word? I don't know.
Yeah,
because,
weight.
The weight, you can't, it doesn't puncture you because of science. Okay. They use that, if you recall, in Blood and Guts 2023, similar-ish principle with what I think were, because of the screwdriver law, the screwdriver tips on a board, and because it's flat, and it was propped up against the turnbuckle, I believe, because that's flat, and Omega bumped back first on it, similar principle, he took a John Woo dropkick off Moxley, went back first on the bed of nails or the screwdriver board, similar principle, and he didn't get punctured, impaled because of science. So they have done something similar, and if you recall, I think on the way down, his elbow or his arm scraped it, and he sold that more than the dropkick because that was actually, I could have got punctured there. Or, so I can't think of anything more to your list, but I don't know what they were thinking with this. He must have known this is going to puncture me or impale me because it doesn't work on the same principle as the bed of nails because it's not a bed. It's like
standing on one nail.
Like wrapped around, yeah.
Horrible. Just burned into my brain, like you say. But let us know your thoughts on what's next. Nana was making a call afterwards, I assume saying, well, this guy's insane. What they're going to do, I've no idea at Dynasty Dynasty. We see footage of the Learning Tree taking out Bandido and Gravity on Revolution, of course. And then Bandido's cutting a promo saying he wants to face Jericho on Collision to get his brother's mask back. And then Johnny TV shows up and says, let's have a fight on Slam Dunk Sunday. Senator.
Sorry. Ooh, what a Collision there for a moment.
Yeah.
Great crowd all night.
Yeah. Then we saw Will Ospreay come out for a match. Someone I'd actually never seen before. A guy called A.R. Fox, Sidge.
But subsequently impressed you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever since AEW introduced me to A.R. Fox. I genuinely think he's brilliant.
He was really good here as well.
So I've got like 5 different tweets from people going, Wilbourn, tell us your thoughts on A.R. Fox. He's great. He's really good. And like I say, I don't know if this was always planned. I hope it was, obviously, for both guys. But it's a fail-safe. 2 mint guys go out and have a mint match.
Yeah.
Even if Will Ospreay's at probably, 70% at best?
Yeah.
Like he was still selling the effects of Revolution, but he was still selling the effects of Revolution. He went half an hour with Carl Fletcher and did a Spanish fly off a cage. Understandably, you might be like, oh, my hip hurts a bit.
Yeah.
There's a slingshot dive from Ospreay as we go to a break. My notes, I've realised on this, are tiny because I'm still just there going, Jon Moxley just got impaled by a bat. Anyway, when we come back from the break, Ospreay hit a standing Spanish fly for a near fall, hit Fox with a hook kick, but Fox ducks the hidden blade, hit a cutter and a haluva kick. Ospreay comes back with a cheeky Nando's kick, but takes too long as a result of the injuries. That allows Fox to hit the low main pain, but he misses the 450 splash, and Ospreay hits him with a hidden blade to get the 1-2-3.
This was really strong, I thought. Usually, I say this every week. I can't help but repeat myself. Will Ospreay, best big match wrestler in wrestling for me. I mean, Danielson, Takeshita, not even thinking about his New Japan work. It's just unbelievable. Like the best wrestler in the world at that particular thing. Nonetheless, I've had a few, not issues, but I don't think he is on TV in these TV matches like as good. And I've spoken about like him doing that delayed fire up fight of my life, hidden blade spot in too many TV matches
Less
where
is
it
more,
doesn't,
innit?
where it doesn't feel earned. He's starting to crack the code on TV. I mean, the TV matches are never anything like bad or even mediocre. They're still like really, really exciting. I just think that there's a difference to working a TV match than this pay-per-view match, which I feel like he sometimes condenses on TV. This is just an awesome sprint. Like, how long was this? It didn't feel long at all.
No.
It flew by. I'd be shocked if it went over 6 minutes.
Ooh, let's have a look.
But this is a really creative way out of that Ospreay. I understand why he does it on TV. Like the Buddy Matthews match for me was a bit... How long was it?
7:39.
Nah, perfect. Perfect. Keep doing this. Keep doing this.
What is this, a women's match?
One, I'm glad that it happened full stop. It's the Hamfler principle of if you want your stars to remain stars, you need to feature them on every single episode of TV. Yes, you can rotate the cast. The opposite of doing that is boring. But if you want, you have to keep reinforcing to the public. These people are stars. They're winners. They're stars. They're winners. They're worth the TV time, you know? Even if sometimes it can result in a predictable match or a pointless promo, you have to do it to reinforce that, yeah? Will Ospreay versus AR Fox was just a really joyful, exhilarating sprint with some absolutely awesome counters, some awesome moments where counters were anticipated. Just this bang, 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 back and forth, warp speed, two intelligent guys trying to really sort of just get that death blow, that kill shot, and Ospreay was the guy to do it. It didn't feel like he was having this absolute epic because you can't do that all the time. And again, I understand why there was a temptation to do that maybe a few times last year on TV, because that's what you get with Will Ospreay. You know, that's what people expect of Will Ospreay. But I think he's really sort of knuckling down and nailing how to do the TV match. And my God, Will Ospreay sprints, that could be the formula.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's melted my face for how long it lasted.
Yeah.
Like they worked so well together at various points.
Little glance at the all-in sign as well at the end.
Yeah, the finish looked mint as well. It just happened so quickly.
Yeah. I like that.
That's the,
sub 10-minute Ospreay matches going forward for a bit. He's got to get over that bloody match. I won't be walking around after that. Ridiculous. He's like a week later. Put me in, boss. I'll do it if you want.
Yeah.
We get a graphic.
Who wants it?
Get a graphic for
wants it?
For Dynasty Mox Swerve, and we cut to Renee. Penny for her thoughts right then, by the way. I want to see her reaction to Mox.
I mean, I don't want to put words. She must be used to it by now.
Yeah.
But then again, like I thought, I'm desensitized to violence in wrestling. Jesus Christ, I couldn't believe it.
I think she probably said,
Oh my God.
but maybe not like that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, get the bandages out when we get home, I suppose. But she's joined by Hangman Page, who she asks about Swerve title match at Dynasty. He says, I said I'd never let Swerve hold the world title again. I'm a man of my word. But after what I've gone through with MJF, I need to focus on myself. And he announces he's entering the Owen Hart tournament to become the next AEW World Champion. What a lineup already for that card.
Surely the final would have to be Ospreay versus Hangman Page.
Oh my God.
I would keep that for Ospreay's going to have the title at some point or Hangman's going to win it back. That's a pay-per-view title match. You could do it again and do a series, but your first time meeting, if it does happen, that's bold because that's one of the big matches AEW's got left, like one of the big ones. Because if you think about it, they have quietly started to burn through. It was always the thing for years where they were just like, there's so many big matches they haven't done yet. I'm not convinced that's still the case. I wouldn't be doing Hangman Ospreay on TV, but God damn it, I'll love it when it happens.
Mercedes is backstage with Renee following this, asking her thoughts on the defense against Billie. She says, well, it's put up a great fight tonight, says Renee. And Moné's like, who trained Starkz? It's Athena.
I love this build.
She says, but if it was me, maybe she'd had a chance of winning tonight. Who am I kidding? No, she wouldn't. That stupid kid learned there's no stopping the Moné train, she says. So, yeah, let's go. Athena versus Mercedes. Yes, please.
I didn't expect it to be this soon. I'll take it. I thought it was like all in. But
yeah, me too. Maybe it could still be a slow burner, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued by this happening when it's happening. I think it's been a really well-built thing as well.
Yeah.
And Mercedes had a
Huge
great,
match.
so far, Mercedes.
Time. Sorry, Siege, I'm just looking here. We've got our second women's match on the show in the main event.
What?
Timeless Tony Storm, flanked by Luther, comes out, dances and falls away around ringside before getting on commentary. Excalibur congratulates her on the Hollywood ending, and Storm says she heard that Tony Schiavone had a Hollywood ending, but he had to pay $45 for it.
You didn't get that, though.
I didn't understand that. I was like,
checked.
so he also faced...
No, you got jerked off by someone.
Right. That makes a lot more sense. There's a bit at the end, by the way. I might need your help with this promo on Megan Bayne. About 5 different things she said. Also like the phrase good gravy that she kept saying whenever people were taking rough bumps in here. But it was Megan Bayne versus Kris Statlander in the main event of the evening. Bayne sends her out to the floor early on.
Fleur from Hull. Or Ashington.
Sends her out to the outside early on. Statlander comes back with a moonsault and a shotgun dropkick back inside. I'll keep trying to remember to mention some Storm on commentary because she called herself the Stormodo Dragon as Bayne caught a Statlander crossbody. But Statlander hit a short dropkick. Storm also mentioned the thighs on these women were made for crushing watermelons. As forward ran distraction, Statlander got hit with a back suplex, take us to a break. When we come back, Statlander fights back, axe kick for a double down, and the ref blatantly sees Ford this time, trips Statlander and out of here. And Storm says, farewell, sugar tits. Statlander avoids a pump kick.
Massive pop.
Yeah.
A crowd was awesome.
Yeah, really good crowd in Omaha. Powerbomb spinning sit-out slam for 2. They sort of trade and no-sell, release German suplexes. A leaping lariat sends Kris to the floor. Bayne hits a tope suicida and a falcon arrow back inside to get a 2 count. Eventually, they're on Bayne's on the outside again after a draping DDT and a somersault senton from Statlander. But Bayne reverses a whip to send Statlander into Tony Storm, hits her with the Fate's Descent. It's her version of the F5, sort of. And Bayne yells at Storm to watch this. Another one inside the ring. Gets Megan Bayne the 1, 2, 3.
Like, the great thing about post-Ladies' Night, I don't think we're actually there, but the great thing about having 2 back-and-forth competitive women's matches on Dynamite this week is that I wasn't just... I mean, they might have done it for the sake of it. They might have done it for some kind of, they were left with no choice. But I was so happy that this showcased the range and the storytelling prowess of this women's division because these matches were completely different from one another. The first was this really cool, earned, kind of like heartbreaking story of experience versus just like spirited instinct but naivety as well. And this was 2 powerhouses in a total hoss fight, and it looked great. Like, it's 2 very different matches. Like there's range within this division, there's quality within this division. It should be promoted so much more heavily than it is. It's just a total bomb fest, and it's sort of it did threaten at one point to loop in terms of they're not really escalating it, but then it just like got into a completely different gear. It felt like 2 like really powerhouse women kicking the out of each other and like going really, really hard. And I was engrossed throughout. I thought maybe they were entertaining the idea of going too long, but ultimately I thought this was perfectly well done. Like nothing like really ambitious. Like if you just saw it written down, you wouldn't think it was much, but there was so much oomph behind everything. And Megan Bayne like just bumped like a champ. And it's always this like thrill to watch like performers that big just go right on the top of the back, making it feel like it's the neck and taking these wild flailing bumps. It's pure spectacle, and this is on that basis.
Really strapped the Rockets, obviously, because post-match Storm clotheslines her over the top and grabs a microphone and says, Bayne's a big bitch. The bigger they are, the harder they come. It's harder they fall, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, she's talking about, the orgasm.
Ah, right.
But
that would make sense why she says it's time to get tantric. Bayne, she says, you keep looking at my title. Not much to say, so I'll make it easy for you. We've got a date at Dynasty. I'll make your thighs shake, your body quake, and I'll leave with this strap on. She sort of said it weird. It's like, I don't know why she said it in that sort of verbiage. Why she said strap on.
Because it's what you get confused by this all the time.
Baffled. Yeah.
It's called a double entendre.
Ah, right.
Where there are two meanings to one phrase. So she's going to leave with the strap on, the belt being the strap, the title, which is what you get.
Yep, got that.
On, but you wouldn't say it like that, would you?
No.
With my championship held high, that's what you would say.
Exactly.
Strap on. Because it's a double entendre, because you can also have a strap on dildo and someone with it.
Got it. So helpful. Thank you so much. She's Tony Storm. She'll rip her tits off.
That's becoming a catchphrase now, and it is awesome.
Drops into the lexicon. I'll rip your tits off. What?
Just banter. Just always banter,
Yeah.
Tony Storm. She never stops being banter.
Great value. What an end to this show.
This show was really, really great.
Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there. You can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Sidgwick at...
M. Sidgwick.
Sorry, I don't normally throw it to you first. You can follow our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. But for now, this has been the Dynamite Review. My thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.